Great, thank you, Suzanne, and thank you, Maeve, as well, for inviting me to be here today. Hi, everybody. It's lovely to see some of the names of the participants, names that I know really well, and obviously to follow Cian. And actually, a lot of what Cian spoke about is reflected in some of my presentation as well. So it's good to see it being put into practice. So let's get started. The writer and social activist James Baldwin once said, "Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced." And 2020 was certainly a year of reckoning, of facing some hard truths. At the start of it, looking back that far, Australia faced wildfires of unprecedented scope, then COVID-19 hit, and that really shed light on inequalities that already existed as the virus disproportionately impacted underrepresented communities. And the outbreak also revealed the importance of public health coordination and strong leadership to face times like these. And on top of all these already catastrophic events, an explosion in Beirut shipyard caused by government inaction and disorganization cost lives and homes. And another truth we must face is that there have been critical issues left unaddressed for many years, even before 2020. From social unrest ranging from Black Lives Matter movement in the US to protests in Hong Kong, from the Me Too movement and climate change movement, and in Ireland, our dark history of the mother and baby homes or the challenges with direct provision. So there's a desire for social change that has been years in the making. And as the cultural fabric of society holds up a mirror to itself, we see that our world has clearly been disrupted, but hopefully for the better. Because while this is an incredibly difficult time for so many people and businesses around the world, there is hope for businesses of all sizes to stand for something. And this isn't just good for our future, it's also aligned to what customers expect. And a recent study shows that nearly 80% of customers surveyed said they were more loyal to purpose-driven brands. And like many companies today, Facebook is still on this journey to fulfilling its mission, to give people the power to build community and to bring the world closer together. And with over 3 billion voices on the Facebook platforms, we're still learning every day how to get this right. But for years, people and non-governmental organizations have looked to businesses to help resolve issues and build prosperity where governments were slow to respond. And even the United Nations looks to businesses to help support its 2030 agenda for sustainable development. And the payoff for participating in this endeavor, according to the UN anyway, is that businesses earn a social license. And actions taken to achieve social sustainability can unlock new markets, they can attract and retain business partners and reveal new sources of innovation. And on top of that, employee engagement, productivity and internal morale can also rise. So with all of that profound societal and economic gaps so apparent, consumers calling for action, and a clear upside to taking action, we can act now. So how can we drive that equality together? So first of all, Facebook has made the commitment to support the UN's 17 Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. And this year we're focusing on SDG 8, which is decent work and economic growth. And we believe it's fitting for what we've experienced over the last year. It's also a natural fit from where Facebook is coming from, empowering business owners to build digital storefronts and helping them get started and continue to thrive. And when the COVID-19 pandemic hit, we created an online resource hub for people looking for and offering help. So how can Facebook help both businesses and brands do something similar? So first of all, building community around a cause, amplifying your brand and its impact, and then showing up where it matters. So first of all, community building, it's a really powerful motivator for people to take action and feel a sense of belonging and loyalty to a cause. And this is an example from the US where the brand Collusion was co-created out of a community of a diverse group of young people. And it started with a poll that Collusion ran in an Instagram stories ad. And the audience validated the development of a gender-free fashion line. And that now represents the community's diversity and fluidity in what they wear and what they design. And the fundraising tools in Facebook have raised billions of euro every year for causes with communities. And now brands can utilize those and empower and impact on those communities and the causes that they care about. So for example, creating a fundraiser, getting in touch with community groups to share content and updates, using a donate button on various Instagram live products or Facebook products, or donate stickers. And you can also amplify your brand and the good that you're doing, driving momentum for a company or initiatives. And Cian shared some really great examples that AIB have done with Food Cloud and Grow Your Own. And there's an example here from Corona, which again just highlights this idea of standing for something. And they partnered with a company called Parley, and they decided to launch a campaign called Pay with Plastic. And the goal was to build awareness around pay with plastics using the Facebook reach objective and ad products to ultimately drive impact and action. So plastic waste was accepted as payment for a Corona beer. And for every limited edition pack that was purchased, Corona and Parley committed to clean 1 square meter of a local beach. And the campaign helped recruit thousands of volunteers to clean over 40 square meters of beach. But in addition, the brand saw a 4.9 point lift in associating Corona with a message about cleaning beaches. And it's never been a better time for businesses to show up where and when it matters. So moments like Christmas, Ramadan happening at the moment, Earth Day, Pride Month, and many others are opportunities to connect more deeply with your customers around a cause that they care about. And people are looking to brands to help them celebrate life's moments virtually, or to support them around social issues with friends and family across the globe. As a cultural moment that lasts for over 30 days and is celebrated by 2 billion people around the world, Ramadan currently is a prime opportunity to reach people in the mindset of giving. Charity is a critical part of observing Ramadan for people, where a massive 91% said they engaged in charity activity during Ramadan. And brands need to show customers they share the same values, with 75% believing that brands should find ways of giving back to consumers and the community. So you can also make a difference when it comes to business equality. And I just want to highlight 3 examples here. So first of all, diversifying your suppliers that you choose to work with, sharing the stage with channels and platforms who typically don't get a voice. And thirdly, accelerating inclusive representation in the media and creative assets that you choose to represent your brand. So first, looking at diversifying your suppliers. It's an important driver of business equality, how we spend our money. And within our roles in a business, we all spend and influence money flow almost every day. And diversifying that money puts into action our desire for a better, more equitable world, while we strive to be a competitive leader in the marketplace. Reducing inequality in the supply chain has been core to the recommended changes that businesses have called for in response to the incidences of systemic racism that have surfaced just in the last year or so. And this is an example from Sephora, who were the first company to sign on to the 15% pledge, which calls on businesses to dedicate 15% of their shelf space to Black-owned brands. And Facebook, in a similar vein, have made a commitment to equality via our supplier diversity initiative. And we've set a goal to spend at least $1 billion with diverse suppliers next year and every year after that. And as part of this promise, we'll spend at least $100 million annually with Black-owned suppliers, from facilities to construction to marketing agencies and much more. And the second dimension of the scorecard is around sharing the stage. And the WPP-owned media agency GroupM has created a lovely initiative, which is a catalogue of more than 300 Black and Hispanic publishers for US clients. And this effort was called the GroupM Multicultural Marketplace. And it aims to raise awareness among clients about Black and Hispanic owned publishers, or publishers that focus specifically on those particular audiences. And GroupM was already working with the publishers included in the list, but they've created this list so that clients can also discover these publishers and can choose to place their investments with those publishers if they do wish to do so. And another example is from Netflix. Again, this is linked to the Black Lives Matter challenges over the last number of years, where they added a permanent Black Lives Matter genre to their service, celebrating the work of Black creators and Black history. And then finally, just to look at accelerating inclusive representation. For years, advertising and entertainment have been driving biases, like some of these highlighted here. And businesses have a responsibility as content producers to promote inclusive representation by eliminating stereotyping groups of people. But while these may be the most common biases that we recognize, what about those we can't see as clearly? And we can't completely get rid of all our biases, but we can train them to be more inclusive. So we drive equal representation. And we partner with businesses through an initiative to help accelerate inclusive representation and to take a marketing science-based approach that challenges businesses to rethink how they represent people in advertising. And by providing tools and best practices to generate ads that are diverse and truly represent all people, Ads for Equality looks to help build a more equal world while unlocking business opportunities. And I'll just give you an example of what that looks like. So we did a study through Ads for Equality, and they compared the impact of a protagonist gender in the Skull beer ads that ran on Facebook. And we compared two strategies, one generic approach where we showed an ad with a male protagonist to the complete audience, and another one where we showed female audiences an ad with a female protagonist. And the ads were almost exactly the same copy, same script, with only the main character's gender changing. And we then measured the impact of both ads on the female audience. And the results showed that when women saw the female protagonist ad, there was a 4-point lift in product awareness and a 15-point lift in purchase intent versus a flat lift for women who saw the male protagonist ad. And this experiment demonstrated that showing female protagonist advertising to female audiences by breaking long-established category stereotypes worked in this case to generate significant improvements in Skull's campaign performance. And each business and category are different and may have different results. But what this test case shows is that it's possible to unlock business opportunities by challenging our long-held industry biases with a diversity approach. So I want to finish, I suppose, with my own personal perspective on purpose and social good and diversity and inclusion. And when I first joined Facebook over 2 years ago, the first 6 months were difficult because the open culture encourages you to ask questions like, what is my purpose? What are my values? What do I stand for? How did I even get to this point in my career? And is this the right path for me? And I realized that I'd never asked myself those questions before. I'd really just taken one step at a time and then found myself here. And honestly, I'm still exploring the answers to those questions. It's a journey, but my mind has been open to the importance of purpose and standing for something, whether that's in a professional or personal environment, or whether you're a company or a brand. And I think the time now is even more necessary that we stand for something as people and as brands. So thank you all, and I'm wishing you all the very best for the year ahead.